Every off-grid setup faces the same question. How do we keep our food cold in the most energy efficient way possible? I've used propane, I've used a very energy efficient electric fridge. This is my first experience with a 12-volt fridge. We're going to check it out over the next 48 hours and really test the power consumption, because that's probably the most important thing that we need to consider here, but also the capacity of a small fridge like this. Can you get by? We have this hooked up to the EcoWorthy 12-volt battery, and you can also plug this directly into a power station, and we're going to talk about that and how to set that up. This is going to be a real-world test. The first fridge I've used up here was a propane 3-way fridge, so you could run it on propane, electric, or 12 volt, but it was really just a propane fridge. I then upgraded to a electric fridge just fairly recently. Now this is the coolest fridge in the world. There's no beating that. You pay for luxury, and you know, this is a man cave. I love this thing. But we're here to talk about this little puppy today. Nice little 12-volt fridge from Bodega. This is the Bodega 65-liter dual zone model, meaning that you can run one side as a fridge and the other as a freezer, or you can remove the freezer door and use it as a single fridge. It runs directly on DC power. There's no inverter needed, which makes it more efficient and portable. So whether you're in an off-grid cabin, a camper, a van, or even just riding out a blackout at home, this could be the middle ground. Your fridge is going to come with bare wires, so you can make a cigarette lighter plug if you want to do that, like I did. You can just wire a 12-volt cigarette adapter to your positive and negative leads. Just make sure that your fuse and wire gauge match the current draw. I'm using 14 gauge wire with a 15 amp fuse between the battery and the fridge. I like using the cigarette adapter because that allows me to easily switch between a 12-volt battery and a power station. Okay, let's start with the essentials here. So just a little clever Joe tip here, you don't want to have an empty fridge. It always takes more energy to cool air. So if it's not full, just add some water bottles or some ice packs to fill up the space. Will this fit? Oh yes, it'll fit. The ice cream fits. Beautiful. Now, another clever Joe tip here. What I used to do to conserve energy during the day is I would freeze these freezer packs in the freezer and then move them down at night to the fridge area, especially if I didn't have any, meats or anything in there. I was just trying to keep some drinks cool, and then I could turn the fridge off at night and save that overnight power. I have packed an awful lot into this fridge. Don't make fun of me, most of this is not food. But you can see for yourself, the capacity. I like the fact that there's a little light in here. That's great. I didn't actually realize that. And the thing that I don't like about it, I have knocked this off the hinges probably about 1,000 times. All right, there you go. I like the storage on the side here. It is plastic, but it seems to be fairly durable. Do the old slam the door test, which didn't work. Slam the door test. All right, we'll see how this little bugger does for the next couple nights. All right, let's get some tunes on here, some cooking music. Tonight's selection is the Moody Blues. If you've watched the channel before, you know that I buy my beef locally. Friends of mine, they name their cows. Whether you live in the city or the country or in the woods somewhere, have a look around locally. See who's in your area and who's providing produce, who's raising meat, who's raising cattle. I can promise you that generally your best food is going to come within a few miles radius. So it's going to be a good meal tonight. The fridge is still working its way to the ideal temperature. There is a bit of a noise, a bit of a rattling. I'm going to take my mic off and place it near the fridge, and we'll try and give you an idea of the sound of this. I'm putting it on this side because that's about where I hear it. Maybe even on the back here. At first I thought that it was maybe the fridge wasn't leveled, which it wasn't actually, and hopefully that sound will disappear as the fridge gets to temperature. Okay, babies, let's go. Now, you might notice the Jamaican flag in the back, and what's happened over there has obviously just been devastating. My channel is about preparedness. I'm not a prepper, but we have to be prepared for power outages. So I'm just going to tie it in a little bit with, you know, some of the stuff that I share up here, whether it's a 12-volt fridge, whether it's the lithium batteries. You know, we need to be prepared more and more. Sending only good vibes their way. It's a new day. We got a little bit of sun in the sky, a little bit more snow on the ground. Let's go inside and check on that 12-volt fridge. You know what time it is. The doctor is in, and he's got a friend over. Just a squeak. It's been running for 24 hours now. Let's just do a quick check on the energy consumption, and then we'll check on it tomorrow and see exactly how much power that it used over 2 days. After 24 hours, we've used 35% of the 100 amp lithium battery, and it's indicating that we have about 24 hours left. But that's not a real indicator because this compressor is turning itself on and off. So my guess is at 35%, we've probably got 2 more days with this. Okay, big reveal here. The big question, of course, is the power consumption. How much power did this thing use? Did we actually save any power? Was it a big enough power consumption difference that we're going to replace the Marshall guitar amp fridge, which I love dearly? Before I get to that, though, I want to just go over a few things that I liked about it and a couple things that I don't like about it. I'm pleasantly surprised with the capacity of this. Granted, I've just got this filled up with, you know, a diabetic stream and a few fruits and veggies, but between the freezer and this deep crisper here, you've actually got a ton of space. The next thing I want to talk about is the noise level. It definitely has a rattle. It has that, you know, that fridge compression rattle, which all fridges do. But this one is particularly loud. I will have to turn this off when I'm doing filming. Certainly if I'm doing any kind of music recording up here, I'll have to turn the fridge off because it is that loud. Another thing is the size of the freezer. I can store more in this freezer, and that is a non-starter for me. I need to have a fridge with a freezer in there. If a freezer isn't important to you, then you can just remove your freezer door, change your temperature settings, and use this as one entire fridge, and you've got even more storage. Next thing we want to talk about here is the build quality of these, the longevity. What's the warranty like? Well, I can't speak to anything past 48 hours, right? But Bodega is a reputable company. They sell a ton of these on Amazon, and they actually have a full lineup of different sized 12-volt fridges and coolers. It seems solid enough. It is a more solid fridge than I was expecting for the price range. This thing, I'm not crazy about, but you get used to it and you kind of figure it out after, you know, doing it wrong for 100 times. We're not quite at the 48-hour mark. We're at about 40 hours now. The EcoWorthy 12-volt lithium battery is down to 45%. One thing to note with that is during the testing and my filming of this, I actually had the fridge door and the freezer door open for extended periods of time. So factor that in. I think that the energy efficiency is actually better than what we're seeing here. Comparing this with the Marshall fridge, which is an extremely energy efficient fridge for an electric fridge, the consumption is night and day, albeit with less capacity and with a louder compressor. So there's trade-offs. What's important to you? A quiet fridge, a more energy efficient fridge, capacity? I would definitely choose the energy efficiency over having a little bit of extra storage. So big shout out to Bodega for supplying the fridge for review. This is my first experience with a 12-volt fridge, and I almost regret not investing in something like this a little bit earlier. So I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe if it was. I'll see you next time. Happy off-gridding.